Hi, I'm the Rhymer, I don't rhyme, and first off, I'm really sick making this video, so that, I think that shows you how important I felt this video was to make. Second, if you want the reactions to the rest of these episodes in Series 11 of Doctor Who, I will be posting them on Stardust. It's a lot easier than uploading them on YouTube and editing them all together. Stardust, it's a great app. Everyone can post reactions to movie trailers and movies and TV shows and whatnot and stuff like that. So I highly recommend you follow me on there. Follow everyone else out on there. I know the Nostalgia Critic uses it. A lot of people use it. It's really a fun app. So, The Woman Who Fell to Earth. So I watched this with my non-Whovian girlfriend. Actually, a while after it came out. I specifically waited for that moment. I got Jelly Babies out. And I brought her because I wanted a non-Whovian perspective of this episode. By the time it was over, we actually had the same consensus. Something was off. First off, let me state, a first episode isn't everything. The first episode of Star Trek Discovery is terrible. I absolutely hate that episode, but that's a show that by the third episode I got into. So, first impressions aren't everything with television, but I'm still worried about Doctor Who Series 11. First off, let me get the elephant out of the room, Jodie Whittaker. I'm not completely sold on her yet, and I was kind of expecting that. I think throughout the series I'll become more comfortable with her. Right now, her portrayal is very hyperactive. It's very almost Tennant-like, I guess. Although, whereas Tennant had some very dark, aggressive moments and some moments to himself, with Jodie, it's very hyperactive a lot of the time, so it's a little bit unnerving first, but hopefully I can get used to that, and hopefully she can get some more scripts that can show some more range in her acting, because this episode, it was very much a lot of laughs and a lot of shouting and whatnot, which with a northern accent is very hard to understand. I'm afraid I'm going to need subtitles for this season, considering pretty much everyone's from the north, and I'm not, criticizing anyone from the north of England or the UK. It's just, it's one of those things I gotta really focus on. But let's get into the problems I have with this episode. First off, the episode tells a lot of things, but it doesn't show a lot of things. So it tells us how the Doctor figures certain stuff out, like a Kevin the bus driver joke that's involved early on. Even with Graham, it tells us that he has cancer, or had cancer. It's in remission right now. When Ryan and Yaz, they meet, we're told that they've known each other before. They don't actually show any of this. When Ryan and Yaz, they meet, I don't feel any chemistry. I don't feel like they've actually known each other for a little while, and that they've had some distance in their relationship time-wise. And I don't feel, it's not shown that Graham has cancer to really feel that. It's tricky. If it's a visual medium, it's not radio. You don't need to tell us. You can actually show us using the pictures, and it's something that might seem as a no-brainer, but it's something a lot of things have run into. An example of how to do this well is actually Spider-Man PS4. I've been playing this game relentlessly, but just the intro to this game, it visually shows us a lot about Peter Parker, and we don't need to guess what his Spider-Man is, because we see it right on his desk in his apartment. And it's showed a lot in the relationships with the characters in that game. I had praised that game because I've been playing it forever. That's something that this series of Doctor Who needs to do, because you have an hour and a half time slot with this opening episode. You can afford to show some things to make us really feel something about these characters versus just telling it, which is really unfortunate. And that leads me into number 2. The companions, I feel right now, are really underdeveloped. Ryan, from what I can tell, his entire character is learning to ride a bike, I guess. I feel like they're going with a sheltered kind of character for this, but I feel like they could have demonstrated that better. Yaz, I feel, is her character, young police officer wanting to get out there. It's, again, a lot of these aren't fleshed out. There's not a lot of detail in there. It's very surface area. And Graham, I feel like it suffers the most from this. He has a relationship with Ryan's grandma, I guess. I feel like his entire purpose in that opening episode was to be related to Ryan in some really forced way. And then by the end, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I have cancer. And so, great, now your entire character is cancer. He has a few defining elements. He's very skeptical about aliens and whatnot, and that harkens back to classic Who, I find, but they're really, really surface area, and I'm hoping we get to expand on these characters, because there's episodes I felt where introducing a companion that's been more layered. Like, you look at Bill in Series 10, it was, she works in this university, but she watches a lot of the doctor's classes, and she wants to learn more and stuff like that. You look at Amy, the doctor shows up when she's 10 or 12 years old and then psychologically scars her for life by not coming back. That's messed up, and that's cool. That's very interesting. That makes us care for Amy as a character. Honestly, I don't remember a lot of these characters in this first episode. I'm really, really hoping that changes for the series' sake. And then the third thing with the new showrunner, there's no style, I find, compared to the previous series. The cinematography is very... It starts off looking very beautiful, but then once it goes to nighttime, it gets very bland, very uninteresting. And the absence of Murray Gold is really felt. There's barely any recognizable music throughout. And I know Murray Gold, he can be overwhelming at times, like especially in Series 5 when he did I Am the Doctor, and he did that throughout every episode, and you immediately knew the Doctor figured out the problem just because that music was playing. But I feel like, from an audio standpoint, a lot of the episodes are very empty, and that translates to the new theme song. I heard it in the end credits. I initially liked it, but I haven't felt a real need to want to listen to it more, because it's the original theme tune, literally, but with more drums throughout, which, it's good from a classic reboot standpoint, but it's nothing new, which I feel like Doctor Who should be. I feel like it should be reinventing itself more than, revisiting the classical elements. And camera angles were very bland. It was ultimately a very boring episode to look at. Even the design of the alien, he was really boring, except for when he removed the mask and he had teeth covered all over him. That was pretty cool. Unfortunately, the villain was also really underwhelming, and I couldn't understand his plan. He was using this tentacle probe to designate targets and then go after this trophy on the planet, and he was kind of cheating doing that to get recognition from his race. But why not just go after the trophy, unless it's like a Mario Kart thing where he's just going after them and then he has to get to the trophy after he's done those objectives. It's very weird, and I don't like how he was killed off. The number one thing that pissed me off is that the sonic screwdriver saved the story. It completely resolved everything. That's a terrible way to start it with a new Doctor and with a new showrunner getting the Sonic to do it all. Sonic did way too much in this episode, and considering it was only created about halfway through the episode, that really shows you it did way too much. It swapped out bits to teleport him home, and then she activated it. It was really, really forced. I'm hoping that they calm down on the Sonic. Overall, I was disappointed with this episode. I'm really hoping it pulls the Star Trek Discovery thing where it picks me up with following episodes. I really want to get on board with Jodie's Doctor. I want to get on board with these companions. But let me know your thoughts down below. And of course, I'm on Stardust, so I'm going to be uploading the reactions to all the episodes in this series. Ultimately, I'm really glad Doctor Who's back, though. Let's just hope it's a little bit more consistent than Moffat. So far, not a great start. Anyway, I'm the Rhymer, I don't rhyme. Let me know what you thought of Jodie Whittaker and the Woman Who Fell to Earth down in the comments.